PR Connections Radio presents. This podcast is brought to you by LifeWave. Ready to elevate your wellness game? Meet X39 from LifeWave.com. This game-changing patch uses phototherapy to stimulate your skin, enhancing strength and stamina by channeling your body's innate energy. Simply apply it to harness infrared heat, naturally boosting your vitality. Want to learn more? Visit www.lifewave.com/VernD and step into a healthier, more active lifestyle today.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to JP's Teachers Lounge, Season 2, Episode 1. I wanted to start a new season for this time because it is a milestone. We're approaching America 250, so happy, and I have to read it, Semiquincentennial. That is one of the, I think, approved terms of 250. So Semiquincentennial America, lessons learned and yet to be learned. Since this is a milestone, I wanted to reflect on America and where we are right now. When I remember the bicentennial, I was 7 years old. Now I'm 57. And to me, 4th of July meant barbecue, fireworks, family, maybe a little pool, a little swimming, and that was it. I didn't understand what America really meant. It just again, being 7 years old, not really understanding that. Obviously, as 57, and you don't really remember the first couple of years of your life as a baby. But from the bicentennial to now, you get a perspective of time, like that's what 50 years is like. That's what it seems like. I've been blessed to be around for the bicentennial and for the semiquincentennial, or 250 for short. I always like to apply things from education into the real world, so to speak. So this podcast is about education, but it's also about things outside of education that we can learn and apply. So again, at 57, I obviously have a different version or a different idea about what America really is. America is it's an ideal that we strive for, and we obviously come short many times. We've had a very sordid past, injustices, all those things, but we need to learn from it, and I think for the most part we have. However, certain things we have not learned from it. I'm a big Rush fan, and every time I like to, if I can, if it applies, if it's topical, I like to include some references for Rush, because we're also approaching, well, it's not for another few weeks yet, but we're approaching Bastille Day, July 14th, the day of celebrating the French Revolution. And I want to share some lyrics from Bastille Day. Came out in 1975. Lessons taught but never learned. All around us anger burns. Guide the future by the past. Long ago the mold was cast. So if we ponder that a little bit, it's timely. It was timely then. It's timely now. So what are we trying? We're celebrating 250th birthday, and yes, we're very divided, and we've always been divided. But with social media and the way our society is, we see every little thing. And yes, we have different opinions, we have different perspectives, But it's important that we come together and at least share some ideals, such as individual rights, limited government, okay, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now that means people have different interpretations of that. And again, that's fine. But we need to understand, or we need to at least have some common ground in terms of ideals. What are we trying to preserve, or what are we trying to achieve or pursue? Well, obviously, authentic justice. We want fairness. Equality equality, yes, but obviously they're not equal outcomes. We want fairness. We want life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We want a fair system, not a rigged system, in which it is. For example, I understand, I don't agree maybe, but at least I understand from looking at our system from a point of view of young people just coming out of college or in college. The system sure looks rigged, and it sure looks like capitalism is failing or has failed. Well, it's not really, it's capitalism, but it's not really capitalism. In many ways is corporatism or cronyism, as I think Ron Paul said that many years ago. It's cronyism. You have leaders who pose as capitalism, but they have backdoor deals, and they do all these things. And where does our money go? All right. You buy a home. Okay, you buy a home, and then you pay it off, but you still pay property taxes. Go get an education. Go get a good education. But then you have a lifetime full of student loans. Go to the doctor, hopefully help get better. Oh, well, we're not going to cure you, but we're going to manage your symptoms so you stay on a lifelong prescription or lifelong prescriptions. We used to have they're called quote unquote mom and pop stores, companies where they knew who you were. They knew the customers, knew them by name. And even though, yes, we need progress, of course, it needs to be, we can't stand in the way of progress. Now everything's corporation. Everything's corporatized. And there, again, I'm not saying anything, not necessarily anything bad about corporations, but look what happens when things become corporatized. Then it's just pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. A little reference to Wizard of Oz. Don't worry about it. It's beyond our control. Well, we want you to make a decision. Well, we can't make a decision because it's a corporate decision, and it's gonna go there and then disappear and whatever. So I understand that the system sure seems rigged, and we don't learn our lessons. President Trump was voted back in for the most part, promising, no new wars. Okay, at least one thing, no new wars. Then the war comes in. Well, we kind of have to do this. Well, to me, I'm obviously, I'm anti-war, but obviously for the moral reasons. But also, I know that all that is just an excuse to try to dissuade us from looking over here. We're over there. Look over here. In the meantime, what's happening? What are the things that are being voted in, at midnight, or on as I say, the 11th hour? What are they doing to distract us? And we know it's just an excuse to beef up the military industrial complex with contracts and paybacks and payoffs and all that kind of stuff. And we're done. And again, they don't again, lessons taught but never learned. Oh, we learned our lesson, so then we're going to do the same thing. Okay, Democrats go into power and then they move everything over to, they want to get what they want to get, and then Republicans come in and the same thing. And so more than likely, the Democrats are going to do real well in the midterm, and the Republicans are going to wonder what the heck happened. And then Democrats will get back in and they'll screw up, and then they're going to go for Republicans. So again, I'm not saying it's okay to disagree, and it's okay to we have different visions of what America is and what it should be and the future and everything. But we need to come together and resolve things and not have an agenda. Again, it's agenda driven. So let me apply this to education, to teaching, because for years I would assign essays. Okay, write an essay. And then here I give them a prompt to write an essay. They write, and then except with maybe a few exceptions, for the most part, I realized students just didn't have a clear basis, a clear foundation for writing essays. So then what I started doing was, okay, I got the feedback, lessons taught. Look at the feedback. Okay, some of these students don't understand the first part of writing an essay. So then what I did was I put it into chunks. For example, the first day or two, I focus on the introductory paragraph. I talk about what should be in the introductory paragraph. I give a sample of what should be in the introductory paragraph. We write it together. Then we write together, and then I have them write their own. So in little chunks. For the end of the day, oh, well, we didn't get an essay done, but we got an introductory paragraph. That's better than nothing. Again, little chunks, because sometimes many students will get overwhelmed, especially if they don't have a firm foundation. So that's what I do. And then before, many times I would get so caught up trying to throw in everything and try to get everything done, I'd forget to give them a quiz or some kind of assessment, some assessment, some understanding. Or again, it's feedback too. It's feedback. I mean, a quiz is not only assessment, it's also feedback. It reflects what they know, what they didn't know, perhaps what something I needed to do, or I needed to do more of something or less of something, or I needed to present it in a different way. And that doesn't mean that if I give a lesson, that doesn't mean that the next time it's going to be totally corrected and not perfect, but totally corrected and polished. But at least I learned from it, and okay, let me take a different direction. Let me try something else. Many times, again, politicians, what I'm thinking of mostly, politicians don't learn their lessons. And some teachers don't either, but again, many times I didn't, and I have to go back and look and realize, that lesson didn't work. So then did I really do anything? Did I make a change, or did I just move on and kind of gave up? So now I'm trying to, again, learn from it. And at least if I could accomplish just one little thing, one piece, if at the end of the day, if they at least understood how to write a sentence in a better way, how to write a compound sentence, how to make sentence variety, how to use word choices, anything. That's a stepping stone. It's a build. And then what students need to learn, again, sometimes when they're taught lessons, but they never learn. So if they don't build, many times they don't build off of what they've already learned. So for example, if we go over transition words, however, furthermore, therefore, as a result, for example, those things. The next time they write their next essay, they need to include that as well, if applicable. They can't just drop it. You have to keep learning. What's the saying? If you don't use it, you lose it. So those are some things that I'm trying to do. Again, lessons taught but never learned. I mentioned this in my last podcast about the Nevada primary. And I did a little research, and at least for Clark County, okay, at least just one county in Nevada, which is the most populated, I think, that and Washoe County up north. But Clark County has about, I think I checked how many 100,000 or how many registered voters, and I based on how many votes Dina Titus received and how many votes Carrie Buck received and the rest of the candidates, it came out to be, I don't know, like altogether, like I think 40,000, about 40,000 votes altogether, something like that. Or no, I'm sorry, I think it was about 70,000 votes. And then I figured it out again, just doing a little research. That was 23% of the eligible voters in Clark County voted in the primary. 23%. Now imagine if you were graded on that. Would you accept 23% every time? It might have gone up a little bit. I'd have to do a little more research. Maybe the last time it was 20% or 18%. But here's my point about, again, lessons taught but never learned. You want people to be engaged, yet you keep doing the same thing. How about having televised debates or streaming debates on Facebook or YouTube or something? I know there's tons of races, but the one I'm focusing on is Congressional District 1. Nothing personally against Dina Titus. She's served about, I don't know, at least 4 or 5 terms. And I don't know whether she is doing a good job or not. I really don't know. But what I do know is that, again, lessons taught but never learned. We need term limits. We all need term limits. If anything, for fresh ideas. Being a public servant should be just like jury duty. Now I know jury duty is very grueling because I did it for one day and I was actually looking forward to it, but I wasn't spoken to. I was just ignored. I was just, again, I was there the whole day. They made me stay the whole day and I felt drained. And I would rather just work. Give me some work. Let me do something. But the point is that jury duty is very, very. It's a lot of responsibility, right? Especially like jury, like a trial for life imprisonment or whatever. It's very important. A lot of responsibility. But then after the trial, we hand over our power back to the court, and then for the next set of jurors for the future trials. That's what it's supposed to be. It's a good rotation, a citizen-based, an actual citizen-based leadership. Now, they say it is, but it really isn't. If you have the same representative for 10, 20, 30 years, that's not a public servant. It's not really, it's not a dictator either. But it's closer to, it's on the way to dictatorship. Luckily, though, a representative as well as a senator does not hold the same weight or the same weight or the same power as a president. Even the president has limited powers, which is for a reason. It's in the Constitution for a reason. Limited powers, checks and balances. Again, so that you're in there, you're in charge. Now you're out. Get someone else in. Should be citizen based. That's what it should be, and it would probably run a lot better, because if we had term limits, we wouldn't have all these senators and representatives in there for forever and doing who knows what, and having all these deals with, backdoor deals and all these kind of things. But that's been going on forever, and too much money. There's just too much money, power, influence, that it's corrupted everything. But again, we don't learn. 23% of people coming in. Can you imagine if you had a grand opening for a restaurant or whatever, and that night will make or break you? And if only 23% of the people show up, wouldn't that tell you, I think we need to make some changes? So have some debates, have town halls, have weekly town halls, have virtual town halls every week. There are some people who've never even heard of Carrie Buck, or have never heard of, well, most people have heard of Dina Titus, but there's still some that haven't. And then even then, for many people, it's just a name, and we need to change that. We need to be more interactive. We need more engaging. They need to be more engaging. Oh, let's do some debate. Oh, they don't want debates because debates are risky. Well, so what? Because if I were running and if I lost, I would say, okay, that the people have spoken. I lost. I move on. I do something else. I want to try again for the next time, maybe. That's, again, that just doesn't, we need to get back to that. Again, lessons taught but never learned. So at America 250, it's okay to disagree. I want to hear what you have to say. Not just the same talking points on both sides, but I want to hear what you have to say. Maybe there's something that I'm missing, because as I'm getting older, or just as I'm getting more into it, I understand both sides many times on many issues. I understand. But there's always going to be there will always be challenges. There are always 20 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, there's going to be challenges. There's going to be, so we can't just hide from it. We have to come together and resolve it peacefully and problem solve, and not just toe the party line. That's ridiculous. There are things that I don't agree with about that Trump does. And if someone on the Trump side want to call me Trump derangement syndrome, or you're anti-American, I know better. Okay, have a nice day. I know better, but I think for myself. And if I can't figure something out, I'm going to ask. I want to learn. Again, as I've been teaching for 30 years now, and you never perfect it. You never. there's always challenges, but there's always goals. This way you always say, okay, here's some goals I want to have this year. What do I want to improve this year? What are some ideas I want to do? Yes, I want to be more engaging. Yes, I want things to be more exciting and interesting. But sometimes you just have to do the work. And I also understand that everyone's on, at their own pace, his or her own pace. So, in conclusion, whether it's politics, education, medicine, or law, the same principles apply. Okay? If you think you know everything, you don't. Okay? If you have to say it, oh yeah, I know everything. No, you're wrong. I know. Then that's automatic. I know that you don't know everything. So you don't even know what you don't know. I know that I don't know everything. And in fact, it just reminded me of a great clip from the movie With Honors with Joe Pesci and Brandon Fraser. And not to make a long story short, or not to make a short story long, Joe Pesci plays this homeless guy who is basically bribing Brandon Fraser to stay with him, and every night he gets to stay in his place. He gives him another. Joe Pesci's character gives Brandon Fraser another piece of paper of his research paper that Joe Pesci's character found, and so then they have a bond, they become friends. It's they're at Harvard. The setting is at Harvard, so Boston, wintertime, very cold, and he was I guess at some lecture hall with Brandon Fraser, economics, or I'm not sure what it was, and Joe Pesci confronts the teacher, the professor, about what he thinks about the founding fathers and the Constitution and everything. It's very, very great. Look it up. Joe Pesci, Brandon Fraser, With Honors. Great scene. But anyways, I will always promote learning. But you can't simply learn it and then forget it. What's the saying? If you don't use it, you lose it. You have to apply. You have to apply it. Even if you fail, that's even better, because then you're learning. You're learning again if you fail. So yes, we have a lot of problems. Yes, we feel like the system is corrupt and rigged. Well, yes, it's unfortunate, because the people who are in power, the people who have the money, can pay off the people who make the decisions. And I hope it doesn't happen. I know it does to a certain degree. It shouldn't. We have to demand it. We have to demand that comes to a stop. Yeah, I'm wishful thinking, but that's just the way it is. It's corrupt, but we have to find ways to make things better and work together. So if lessons are only taught but never learned, there will be no growth. So happy Semiquincentennial America 250. And things may seem bleak. Things may seem divided, because they are. Because we have different versions, or different versions and different visions of what America should be. But the bottom line is, we must at all costs protect individual rights. Because without individual rights, chaos moves in. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in, And happy 4th of July, America. Happy 250. Have a great day. Oh, and I can be reached at www.jamespesutichcommunications.com. And I'm also on Instagram, JP Connections, Facebook, JP Communications, as well as LinkedIn. Happy 4th of July, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.
This podcast is brought to you by LifeWave. Ready to elevate your wellness game? Meet X39 from LifeWave.com. This game-changing patch uses phototherapy to stimulate your skin, enhancing strength and stamina by channeling your body's innate energy. Simply apply it to harness infrared heat, naturally boosting your vitality. Want to learn more? Visit www.lifewave.com/VernD and step into a healthier, more active lifestyle today. PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.